Hello students, I am Dr. Yasha Tayal from ABS Engineering College, Ghaziabad. Today we will discuss about superconductivity and nanomaterials. In our previous lecture, we have discussed about the basics of superconductivity, its dependence on temperature, critical magnetic field, Meissner effect, and its various types, type 1 and type 2 superconductors. Now we'll discuss upon high temperature superconductors. So there are certain elements or compounds or metals which demonstrate superconductivity at high temperature, which is more than 25 Kelvin. We show zero resistance. So these are termed as high temperature superconductors. Examples like yttrium, barium, cupric oxide, which has a critical temperature 90 Kelvin. Lanthanum, barium, cupric oxide, which has a critical temperature which is 30 Kelvin. Mercury, barium, calcium, cupric oxide, which has a very high value of critical temperature, transition temperature, which is 133 Kelvin. So these are certain type of elements which show very high critical temperature, which means that these materials will have more utility as their critical temperature is raised. So because generally we observe the zero resistance phenomenon at a temperature which is in between 0 Kelvin to 10 Kelvin. So that is basically a non-practical temperature. As we will raise the temperature, utility of superconductors can be found. So high temperature superconductors are generally made from combination of elements or various alloys. So the characteristic properties of high temperature superconductors are that they have very high transition temperature. They are found to be brittle in nature. High temperature superconductors atoms have covalent bonding. They have a very complex structure, which is perovskite crystal structure. These oxides are generally made from copper. As we raise the temperature, we require copper in it. High temperature superconductors are generally known as type 2 superconductors. As we previously studied in type 2 superconductors have a higher value of upper critical magnetic field. And these elements are made by combination of elements. These are not pure. These are also known as hard superconductors. So these are made from a combination of elements. Next, we need to study about properties of superconductors. We have already discussed certain properties like superconductors have zero electrical resistivity. They show perfect diamagnetic nature. So this effect is found from the Meissner effect. So from Meissner effect, we can study about the perfect diamagnetic nature. These elements have a particular value of critical current and persistent current. So the persistent current ideally lies for infinite time, so which again make them more useful. Critical temperature, they have a limiting value of temperature. So below this critical temperature, material will show zero resistance. Next is magnetic flux quantization. According to this, closed superconducting loop can enclose magnetic flux only in integral multiple of fundamental quantum of flux. So we have the formula for flux is equal to NH by 2E. 2E is your charge, 1.6 into 10 power. So E is basically charge, 1.6 into 10 power minus 19 coulomb. H is Planck's constant, 6.6 into 10 power minus 34 joule second. And N is your quantum number, which starts from 1. So phi flux is equal to N times of phi naught, because we can find here phi naught is basically a constant value. It is H by 2E. Both of these are constant value and it is known as fluxion. So fluxion is the basically minimum value of flux. So if we simply solve the value of phi naught, which is 6.6 into 10 power minus 34 by twice of charge, we can find this value to be equal to 2.067 into 10 power minus 15. Next property, we have entropy of superconductors. So entropy parameter, the entropy is basically measure of disorder of a system. The entropy of a superconductor is lower in superconducting state than in the normal state. The decrease in entropy indicates that superconducting state is more ordered than a normal state. So we all know that entropy is basically degree of disorderness. As the material temperature is reduced, so what's going to happen? So material atom electrons will be more ordered because they won't be more vibrating. So as the vibration within the electrons is reduced, the material will be more synced. The electrons will be more synced as they are more ordered. So their disorderness will be reduced. And as their disorderness is reduced, the material will show more, will have, so their entropy will be reduced, because as the degree of disorderness is reduced, entropy is reduced for superconducting state. We can explain this with respect to behavior, temperature, and entropy per unit volume on y-axis. So we can plot the graph between these two values. This is found to be, again, borderline is a critical temperature. So this is the graph for a normal material. So this is the entropy in normal material. So entropy in normal materials, or you can say conductors, will gradually, slowly, linearly decrease as the temperature is reduced, because electrons won't vibrate as they won't have higher temperature. But for superconductors, element which shows superconductivity, their behavior is found to be abrupt at critical temperature. At critical temperature, this value is found to be suddenly decreased to zero. So this is the behavior of entropy in superconducting state. So this value suddenly drops to zero before your critical temperature. Likewise, thermal conductivity can study. Thermal conductivity is basically the property where we come to know how the electrons can transfer the energy from one part of the specimen to another. So here for super electrons don't interact with each other as they are more ordered. So they don't transfer this energy. And so thermal conductivity is reduced for superconducting material. If we plot the graph between temperature and thermal conductivity on y-axis, the graph which is found for these two is, again, benchmark is taken as the critical temperature. So this is the thermal conductivity for normal electrons. Whereas for super electrons or superconductors, the thermal conductivity decreases well behind. It drastically reduces for the superconductors just as the temperature is reduced below to critical temperature. Whereas if an element does not show superconductivity, it will gradually decrease. Likewise, we can study the behavior of specific heat. Specific heat, so below critical temperature, again, there is a variation of specific heat, which is quite different from the normal electrons. So as temperature is dropped below your critical temperature, specific heat jumps to very higher value, and then it decreases slowly. So this value is just below the value of normal electrons, normal metals. Again, we need to plot this behavior with respect to temperature and specific heat on y-axis. This is specific heat per unit volume. So the variation, again, we're going to plot the benchmark critical temperature. So this is the behavior of normal metals. So normal metals value linearly decreases. But for materials which show superconductivity at a particular temperature, their value decreases in this fashion. It decreases in this fashion. So this is the behavior for superconductors. Now critical current. So there is a particular value of critical current also for superconductors. The value of maximum current that can be allowed in a superconductors without losing its superconductivity is called critical current. The formula for critical current is IC is equal to 2 pi R HC. So if we are having a loop, so current flowing in this loop is equal to 2 pi times the radius of this loop and the magnetic field in which it is placed, because current generally produces when it is applied in an external magnetic field. So basically we are having three parameters on which superconducting state is dependent: critical magnetic field, temperature, and current. So if all of these three values are below its critical value, then only material is in superconducting state. So within this region, material lies in a superconducting state. And if the value of critical temperature or magnetic field is above its critical value, it goes in the superconducting state. If the value of current and magnetic field is above its critical value, then the material goes in the superconducting state. Or if the value of temperature and current is above its critical value, material passes into superconducting. So all these three values, magnetic field, temperature, and current, should be below the critical value, then only material lies in the superconducting state, which means resistance can be zero. Next property for superconductors is isotope effect. Isotope effect is observed for certain transition temperatures of superconductor, which varies with the isotopic mass. So with certain elements like mercury, which have the two isotopic masses, so their value was found to be inversely proportional to its critical temperature. So the variation with respect to critical temperature is square root with respect to isotopic mass. So we can say Tc into isotopic mass, square root of isotopic mass have to be constant. So if you're going to having two combination of values, then the value can be found in this particular form. These are the parameters which need to be maintained. So if you are making an element with a combination of isotopic mass, so there will having two values of critical temperature with respect to those isotopic mass. So the resultant critical temperature will be average of these two values of transition temperature. Now this variation of isotopic mass with temperature is because of their lattice vibrations. So lattice vibrations are governed, and so the phonon energy, which leads to the variation in this particular critical values of variation in the transition temperature. Now, next we have applications of superconductors. As we all know that there is zero resistance. So they can support long distance power transmission without any loss of power. As they are having an infinite source of current, infinite persistent current, so they can be used for memory and storage element. They are used in medical applications. They are using SQUIDs, which is superconducting quantum interference device, on which your MRIs are based, magnetic resonance imaging. Then on the basis of Meissner effect, diamagnetic property, magnetic levitation trains, maglev trains are based. So we are having super fast trains in various countries like Japan and China. Super fast trains have been found on the basis of this phenomenon. So the source of references for this lecture is taken from S.O. Pillai's Solid-State Physics, Arthur Beiser's Concept of Modern Physics, and various research papers. Thank you so much for patiently watching this lecture. Hope this video is found useful for it.